Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Monday morning, I wish it was January 18th, 2021. I'm the man they call Meathead. Maybe it's the cold weather that's just making me feel like, I'm in a mental place. I'd rather be in June, just feeling the sun beating down on my, hard-shaped, manscaped body. It's Monday morning. Let's bring in our host before she giggles her way in before an introduction. It's Linda K. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. Well, before we can make it to the warm weather of June, we got to get through some more Packers football, baby.
That's right. Next Sunday in the cold, and it's going to get cold up here real quick. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Battle of the Bays,
Bays.
Championship. Winner goes to Super Bowl 55. The Packers MVP quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Super Bowl, it's coming, Linda. It's on its way. We are almost there. We are 2 wins away.
I know. And watching that Bucs Saints game, I was going back and forth on who I would rather have come to Lambeau. And I don't know, it was a toss-up for me. But either way, I know our Packers will do it. They've got it. We're going to see Green Bay advancing to the big game.
The irony of it is that, there is a chance for the first time ever. If Tampa Bay pulls a rabbit out of its ass, somehow, they play a Super Bowl at home.
I know. I thought about that too.
And they could just stay there for 2 more months and show up at Wrestlemania. Really.
Yes.
So we'll get to that in just a bit, but it's not going to happen. Green Bay is going to the Super Bowl, and this is the year. I'm a happy guy. I'm a very, very, very happy guy. And for the first time all season long, did you see? I don't care if it was 8,000 something in the stands. They sounded like 60,000. Aaron was about to cry because he had fans in the stadium. It was amazing, but that's not what you listen to this podcast for, but you're going to deal with it. Green Bay is going to an NFC Championship. We'll host the first time ever for Aaron Rodgers playing at home for a chance to go to the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let's talk about Raymond James Stadium. And that's kind of where we're going to go to news real quick. It's a perfect segue. I know that's not what we talked about before, but the segue's there, Linda. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
Wrestlemania officially now moved to Tampa Bay. It was supposed to be there last year. It was supposed to be in L.A. at the SoFi Stadium. It is now official, a 2-night event. Tampa Bay, they are bringing it back, and there is not official, but there is talk that they will have limited fans in attendance as well at Raymond James. Kevin Owens might get his chance to jump off the pirate ship again.
This time the real pirate ship at Raymond James Stadium.
That's right, instead of the WrestleMania sign.
Yes. So, I saw that promo video. Pretty funny there.
I enjoyed it. It was nice. I liked it.
Yeah, but this is great to hear. Again, it's not officially confirmed that fans will be in attendance, but they're already talking about safety precautions in place. So with more info to come, makes it obviously sound like there's a chance for fans to witness the spectacular WrestleMania 2 nights this year too. So that's a little interesting. It made me think, are they combining TakeOver with that? Who knows? But it's very exciting and enlightening news to hear that we're going to get a live WrestleMania this year.
And, us at PWR, PWR Today, obviously a branch of PWR, but what that excites us about, I smell shenanigans.
Ooh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. So in Tampa, shenanigans. If WrestleMania is on, that means probably shenanigans is on as well. Kevin Nash, PWR, Linda K. I don't think the man they call Meathead is lined up for Tampa shenanigans this year. But the reason I'd say that is because let's talk about the next 2 WrestleManias, which were actually announced for locations as well. Normally, WWE, a year in advance, will announce the location. Not this time. They announced that next year, 2022's WrestleMania will emanate from the AT&T building in Dallas, Texas. WrestleMania will be in Dallas, Texas in 2022. And I'm willing to bet, with all the peeps that I got down in Dallas, you may see the first ever appearance of the man they call Meathead at a shenanigans party in 2022 in Dallas. Big D.
Absolutely. We would love to have you live and in person at Shenanigans, Meathead.
You know who else has no excuse to not be at this particular party next year in Dallas?
Damian Nelson?
Damian Nelson, that's right. Damian Nelson no longer with the Pro Wrestling Report. No longer. He's moved on and he's doing other things, but I'm willing to bet we can go find him somewhere in the Big D and get him to a shenanigans party one more time. If you don't have faith, then it's not going to happen. But folks, we got to get Damian Nelson to show up at shenanigans. Even if he doesn't show up this year in Tampa, I'm willing to bet we can find Big D in the Big D. See what I did there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. One more appearance has also been announced. WrestleMania in 2023 will now go to the SoFi in LA. So basically what they're doing, folks, if you don't catch on to this, they're meeting commitments. They promised Tampa Bay WrestleMania last year. Didn't happen. You get the first one back. Cool. All right, here we go. Dallas, you were probably going to be in the mix in the next couple of years. You know what? I'll tell you what, LA, you're going to have to wait. You were supposed to have it this year. California's still kind of shut down. We'll get to you. Hopefully you get your, garbage dumpster fire of a state under control, and we'll have California in 2023. That's really what it is, folks. I mean, they're committed to Dallas next year. They're committed to California and LA 2 years from now. And I'm absolutely fine with it. Let's get let's get tickets planned. Let's get flights planned. Let's get this all taken care of. Maybe we can get Matthew Thomas to climb out of his Rocky Mountain High and find his way down to Tampa or Dallas or LA at some point. Can we get the entire PWR team together?
Absolutely. And, this just makes absolute sense. Picking these cities right off the bat, given the more loose rules, restrictions regarding live events. Obviously, Florida can allow a good amount of live fans. One of the first states to allow it. Texas, pretty open with that as well. Think about the World Series. I remember watching the World Series in Arlington and seeing that place pretty much looking packed. And I'm like, oh, you kind of forgot for a minute there that it's limited capacity. Yeah. So that makes sense because, obviously it's kind of unknown as far as how things will roll out within each state in the next year, 2 years. So this makes absolute sense to have WrestleMania take place in Tampa this year, given the reasons you just mentioned as well. Dallas next year, the commitment to LA in 2023. I'm really still hoping for that next WrestleMania back in Vegas.
I was going to say that exactly. Vegas, you and I are on the same page. Yeah. After LA, I guarantee it's Vegas.
It was supposed to be. I think that was the initial plan. I think, obviously, Allegiant Stadium.
The Death Star, as they're calling
it. Well, hopefully we will get another WrestleMania back in Vegas because Caesar's Palace, awesome way back in the day, smaller capacity.
Yeah.
Boosted up to that huge new stadium.
No, I sadly for the Midwest, for us here in the Midwest, I don't see a Midwest WrestleMania for 5-6 years, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it's
as
been
much
a
as
war too.
I was going to say, as much as I don't want to go to the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, they've got a brand new stadium there at US Bank Field, and that'd be a fantastic place to host another WrestleMania.
I hope so. That's not too far of a drive for us here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's about 6 hours, but I mean, it's better than a flight having we can drive over there. But honestly, I've always thought, and it's just too close to baseball season, I've always thought Miller Park would have been the place for WrestleMania. When Miller Park first opened in the early 2000s, there was talk we were going to get a WrestleMania. But see, the problem is that, and this is kind of off topic here, but the problem is that the city of Milwaukee does not have the hotel space for an event like that. When we had the All-Star game in 2002, there was complaints that people had to book their hotels in Chicago, they had to book their hotels in Green Bay and Madison because there was just not enough, spots in the Milwaukee area. Now that's been rectified in the last 20 years, but that has put kind of a sour taste in the, the minds of WWE that we can't get enough people to actually stay here. Us personally, we could just drive around, but we're talking about the rest of the country and
the rest of the world. Yeah. Well, I mean, given how Milwaukee was supposed to have the DNC last year, obviously a lot of new hotels were built up, and then with COVID, they're not being used right now. So I don't know. We never know. Never say never.
Well, we've got that. Let's talk about something real quick from Friday Night SmackDown, and we'll go kind of chronological over the weekend here. Friday Night SmackDown, we have been singing the praises of our boy, your boy, my boy, Scrap Daddy AP. Can't wait for him to be in a Royal Rumble. Well, there goes the rug, and it's not underneath his feet anymore. He got it pulled out from under him, but by his own doing. Ladies and gentlemen, Scrap Daddy AP is not going to be in the Royal Rumble main event anymore. He kind of hurt himself a little bit. So taking his place, Kevin Owens. Owens fight in a last man standing match against the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, at the Royal Rumble. Linda, your thoughts?
Well, as AP said, card is always subject to change, which it did. We are getting Kevin Owens again versus Roman Reigns, which their last match, fantastic. I definitely foresee their match at the Royal Rumble being another great one.
Show stealer, possibly.
Yeah, definitely. Especially being a last man standing match. I mean, got to believe that's going to be a match that will take place throughout the Thunderdome, I would hope. Yeah. So I think it'll be another great, heavy-hitting, brutal match. However, given the winner of that match would be the face, the champion going into WrestleMania, unless something crazy happens at Elimination Chamber. But I don't think so, because Roman Reigns is just on top, or at the top of his game, and you want that face, a popular face,
absolutely.
Somebody, not a heel in this case.
Right, I was going to say face or a heel, but you want a name up on the card.
Yes, a recognizable person, more mainstream, obviously, SmackDown being on Fox, the whole world, all wrestling fans outside of, us true lifelong wrestling fans know Roman Reigns, and he would be
He's a crossover name, is what it is.
He'd be the go-to, being a champion going into WrestleMania. So, anywho, I was very pleasantly surprised seeing Kevin Owens replacing Adam Pearce, but hey, we know we're going to get another good match between KO and our tribal chief.
Absolutely, and we're all getting real excited for the Royal Rumble. We know that's going to be happening. I know I got my little side thing going with the Rumble, so everybody's getting kind of jacked. We're 2 weeks away, honestly, from yesterday. We are 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble, and the men's side is filling up nicely. The women's side is filling up nicely. I still will, to this day, pound the table with my fist and tell you that Rhea Ripley is either going to win the Royal Rumble, which I believe she will, or she's going to go to WrestleMania and take on the women's champion and become women's champion and move up to one of the two major brands. So it's Rhea Ripley time. It is time. That woman is just an amazing athlete, and I think that last man standing match that she had just a few weeks ago on NXT proved it. I mean, it's time for her to, I don't think there's anything left for her to do in NXT.
Right. And this could be a redo for what would have been her huge WrestleMania debut match.
At a stadium. Right.
The same stadium. Yeah.
Right. So we could just rerun that same promo from last year.
Pretty much. I remember seeing that footage of her walking out into the field, before it got canceled. So
I'm ready. I'm ready for Rhea Ripley to win the PWR draft for me. Not that I don't already have Kevin Owens now showing up at the pay-per-view to wrestle in the main event in a specialty match, but the rich just keep getting richer over here. I don't know what to tell you.
Still got a couple months for Team Long Time to make a huge dent.
Hey, and let's talk about that real quick, too, while we're talking PWR draft. For those that haven't seen the news, I don't remember if it got put out on the PWR socials, but Damian Nelson is not in the PWR draft anymore. His team has been handed over. The reins have been handed over, no pun intended, to Roman. But Matthew Thomas will take it over. Have you heard his team name?
Well, I believe it's something that Matthew's going to unveil himself here on PWR today. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's an amazing name. We're going to talk about it Wednesday morning. So I just didn't know if you got the spoiler sheet. I just didn't know if you got the run sheet on that one.
I maybe did. I just know that Matthew Thomas will be unveiling it directly this week.
That's nice, because it always makes me nervous if Matthew Thomas wants to unveil something, because we know his history. So I'm glad to know that it's just the team name for we'll call it Team Matthew Thomas right now, formerly known as the Nelson family. He inherits the entire team, and as of the last check of the standings, he was in 4th out of 5th as Andrew Baydala had taken over 3rd place. It's getting tight. It's getting real tight. I'm trying to hold off Dave Hero, who is always, a formidable competitor, but this seems to be the year of the Meathead. And to be completely honest, I should try to make my way down to Tampa Bay because not only are the Packers getting a parade in Tampa Bay, Meathead should get a parade in Tampa Bay as well when all his competitors win him the PWR draft at Wrestlemania this year.
Ooh, if that comes to fruition, I love me parades. You let me know.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, the parade, seriously, dress me up like the Wiz from Seinfeld because nobody beats the Wiz.
Mm.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's talk about Saturday night, the big show this weekend. It was Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill. We had a little bit of a couple notes that came out of that pay-per-view. First off, let's talk about the main event. There was a quick change to it on Friday. Alex Shelly, due to circumstances beyond his control, was pulled from the match. So the Motor City Machine Guns were not whole. They placed Moose in his place in the six-man tag. It was going to be AEW Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, Bueno Hermanos, from our friends over at Collar and Elbow brand. I love that t-shirt. Buenos Hermanos and Kenny Omega on one side, and on the other side, Rich Swann, the Impact Wrestling champion, and Chris Sabin and Moose in a six-man tag. Now, ended up being a great match. Your winners coming out on top were AEW champ Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. What were your thoughts first of hearing the news that Alex Shelly was pulled from the match? He did post a video that said, look, he doesn't have the Rona, he doesn't have the COVID or the vid or the hizzy or whatever the kids are calling it now, but he apologizes to his partner, to Moose, to the fans, and he also has receipts ready for the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega.
Right. Based off that video, I mean, perhaps he came in contact with someone with the Rona. I mean, that wasn't really mentioned. He said he did not have it. So I would hope he would be back on Impact TV very soon.
Might be self-quarantining. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah. So, that was a little sad to hear because, we had that big buildup between Motor City Machine Guns and Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers. But, when we spoke last week, you and I was hoping that perhaps Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns would win and take over what is theirs, their show, their baby. Yeah. However, I felt that Kenny Omega and Good Brothers would win, which they did. So especially with that change with Moose in the match, obviously it was still a great match with him in the match as well, but it just kind of made it more clear, like, who's going to win this match. But what I'm, thinking about now is, well, Kenny Omega, AEW champ, Rich Swann, Impact champ. It's time, I think, that we get that one-on-one match between both champions.
AEW Revolution?
That would make sense.
And that's going to be end of the month. I think it's the last Saturday of February.
Yep.
That TBD on the location of it, but probably still be dailies. They might be moving again. We talked about it here on the program. They might be moving the show down to Miami for a couple months because it's getting kind of cold up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, if we start seeing Jim Ross in a triple fat goose jacket at the commentary table, it's time to move.
Well, you already see the breath,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if during commentary you hear his teeth chattering, it's probably time. Let's talk about one other piece of news that came out of the pay-per-view. And guys, you can go check out the results. I mean, all the results are on their website. All the results, highlights of the matches are on YouTube. But one other piece of news that came out of the pay-per-view was the fact that the Karate Man match, they see, here's the story, right? He had his match, and by he, I'm talking about sorry, I'm brain farting here. I'm talking about Ethan Page. Sorry, member of the North. Ethan Page had his match against the Karate Man, who is also Ethan Page. But Ethan Page left the company about a month ago, and he already taped the match. Ethan Page put out a video and a statement that says they murdered his match. Be it the editing, be it whatever, he is absolutely furious with the match and apologized to his fans. Said, look, that's not the match I meant to put out. It looked like a dumpster fire to me, and he apologized. At the end, Karate Man ripped the heart out of Ethan Page. Now, Karate Man, for those that don't know, look up, I think it's Kung Fu Ken or something like that. He does these pretty funny videos, actually. You see him on Facebook all the time where he's teaching people self-defense, and it's just a mockery of karate. But, I mean, it's meant in a comedic way. So Linda, what was your thought when you heard that Ethan Page had already left the company, but was still booked for the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, and they put his video out there and just, in his words, butchered it?
Right. Obviously, maybe there was something within his contract that still gave, obviously, Impact the right to still put him in the pay-per-view and still use the footage that he made himself of, him and himself, the Karate Man, and just kind of listening or reading what he thought about the match afterwards. I mean, sounds like, he had no say in any type of editing of that match, that he didn't even want the Karate Man even put on Impact, yet Impact still put Karate Man on TV, and just the way that they literally killed him. I mean, granted, that was the character, that was the video. His heart getting ripped out literally killed him off. So you would think that he would have had some say to that, but he's coming out straight up saying, I did not. He's embarrassed about that, feels bad for the fans who wanted to see a good Ethan Page match on the pay-per-view. They didn't get it. Really just stating his displeasure for Impact Wrestling and what they've done with him. Sounds like he's saying that they're using other talents, previous work to try to profit. Very not happy about what took place, and it was rather more of a truly comedic match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, cinematic is what we've been calling for the last few years.
Yeah, but it was also comedic, like way too comedic. I mean, obviously he's not with Impact, so he'll say what he wants to about them right now, but hopefully he'll get on some type of bigger promotion, or and big in the indies run, and kind of redeem himself for this the displeasure, this taste in his mouth, bad taste in the mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. And he can always recover from this. I always thought the North, when I did watch Impact Wrestling, I thought the North was a solid tag team. I mean, because they just had that wrestling look, and Canadian wrestlers take themselves very seriously sometimes. That's why the Karate Man versus Ethan Page was funny, because, he wasn't taking himself so seriously. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and again, the winner of the 6-man was Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers. One other note, debuting on this pay-per-view was Matt Cardona. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. He debuted for Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. Well, nice to see him and his best friend, Brian Myers, back in the same promotion.
Yeah. And, the thoughts will be there, and they should be. When are they going to tag? When are they going to go for the tag team championships? That's probably the next thought.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise at the pay-per-view, and just glad, like he had that short run in AEW, but they clearly stated he did not have a contract, which kind of surprised me. I thought he was a great addition to the AEW roster, but that obviously didn't happen. So it's great to see him now over at Impact, hopefully where he can make a great impact there as well.
Unintended. I know what you did there.
Yes. But no, I'm very happy to see him on there. He looks great, and still very popular in everyone's eyes. I want to see him get another big shot, over at Impact.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up real quick tonight on Raw. So far announced, Asuka will battle Alexa Bliss tonight on Raw. Now, last time we saw Alexa Bliss, she was shooting fireballs. So, what happened to Randy? Did Randy get burned?
My guess is yes. How could he not have? But I'm just really curious to see if he'll even be at Raw tonight, or if it's just gonna be video, or if he's just gonna,
well, they've got 3 hours to fill. So yeah. I mean, they got to.
Well, I mean, the Fiend's been gone for obviously he was burnt to a crisp, but I think the focus on tonight's Raw will be, well, at least within the storyline, will be with Alexa Bliss and then with Asuka. So, I'm really curious to see what would come out of this one.
Yeah, I'd like to see more from Alexa, because again, I've been banging this drum again also since the summer. The slow evolution into what she is now has been just, I love it. I absolutely love it. I thought the original Daddy's Little Monster thing had burned out for me, and her transition into this character is fantastic. it's the stuff I really actually, I mean, I don't look forward to a lot on Raw. I struggle sometimes. I'll be completely honest. And it's hard for me to put on the positive spin, but I look forward to seeing what Alex is going to do. I stop, I watch, and I pay attention.
All right. And there's still a big mystery to where the Fiend is, how he is, what will happen.
Is he, a burnt Dorito? I mean, who knows?
Yes.
We've got probably more coming from Drew McIntyre and Goldberg. Remember, Drew McIntyre is the first official WWE talent on television to have been confirmed to have had the Rona. So I don't think we'll see him on TV tonight, but we might see him via satellite.
Yep.
We've also probably got more with Keith Lee and Sheamus. That shenanigans, Charlotte Flair and Lacey, because Lacey's now hanging out with the Nature Boy. So, Linda, we got one more bit of news. This is wrestling related as well. Did you see the trailer for the new Rock show on NBC?
I did. It looks good.
I don't mean heavy metal. I mean, if you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Yes, Young Rock.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, that I believe debuts sometime next month. But I did see the trailer. Looks funny. Kind of reminds me of Everybody Hates Chris.
Yep. Where we kind of learned about Terry Crews real quick. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anybody else who may not have seen that trailer, definitely check it out. The Rock, anything The Rock touches is gold. So this show will be great, but also just to really see that, it's going to be a funny glimpse into his life, but it's going to show us the crazy shenanigans, if you will, of
growing up in a wrestling family. Because remember, Rock wasn't just, Rock's a third generation, I believe, because obviously his father, Soul Man Rock, and then obviously his grandfather and so forth. So what it's like to grow up in a wrestling family. So Rock, had to deal with the same stuff that we did as kids. It's just that his family, on their work days or on his off time, ran around in a ring and threw each other around.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it. I cannot wait. It being on NBC, I have a little bit more faith in it. It's not, a random one-off Netflix or, a True TV or something like that. This is a big network. This is one of the big old networks actually putting out a wrestling TV show.
Yeah, and, The Rock being a host of the Titan Games, obviously he has that draw, that following. So I foresee the show being on for quite a while.
10-4. All right. Well, that is a packed Monday morning. We got a good jump on Martin Luther King Day. How do you feel about that?
That's great. Great day to kick off the week on this great day to celebrate and just.
I'm excited.
Really
we got a big week coming up. Wednesday morning, we're going to hear what Matthew's going to call his team. I'm excited. Tomorrow morning, we're going to hear from you again, right?
Yeah, we'll see. About Asuka and Alexa Bliss. That's the most exciting thing, I think, to both of us for Raw tonight.
I think so. All right. For Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.